Welcome back to another episode of the Golden Boot Podcast. It's your boy Pooh Bear. Of course, I got Daniel D. Williams in the building,
Yeah.
stretching out headphones. Spider-Man looking good up there. And
Yeah.
we got Ed Petty Murphy in the building.
What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
All
Yeah.
right, fellas. First order of business. Rich, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you your contribution to the show. We have to put you up out of here. You be tripping. Rich coming in with the Alabama.
Rich coming in with some heavy Alabama energy this afternoon, huh? Heavy Alabama energy.
Alabama Rich in the house. He don't even know who the quarterback was 2 years ago.
Hey, but what I do want to say, you know what I'm saying, we glad to have the smartest Williams in the building. How you doing, truly? But fellas, we have it's lucky episode number 13, and we got a special guest with us tonight.
Yes,
Somebody
sir.
who's been doing some big things. Let me just go ahead and get to the introduction. Yes.
Go ahead.
He's an Alexandria native. He's a former All-American.
Well,
Played for Oklahoma. We're not gonna hold that against him though. But he played for Oklahoma. Played for the Buffalo Bills, and I don't have it up though. But he also had a stint with the Carolina Panthers.
We're not gonna hold that against them either.
I guarantee y'all have seen him or seen his influence and didn't even realize it. We have Mr. Nic Harris joining us. Thank you for coming on, Nick. How are you this evening?
Oh man, first and foremost, a quarterback a couple of years ago to Alabama ended up going to Oklahoma and played a little bit.
Let him know.
Two, was drafted 9th overall, 147. Drafted 5th round, 147 overall to Buffalo, and 3 years in Carolina as well. So yeah, and I made the Pro Bowl ballot twice, playing out of position.
Look at him.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I like that.
Hey.
I like that.
So Nick, when we Daniel was talking to us, hey, we gotta get this guy on. He started telling us stuff, and he was like, he was Ray Lewis. I was like, what are you talking about? He was Ray Lewis. So yeah, he was Ray Lewis. He on Madden. I was like, what are you talking about, Daniel? But I want to start here. First of all, again, like I said, thank you for coming on. You're an Alexandria native, and we're gonna get to all your accomplishments because, like I said, the list is the list is endless. But I want to start here. First of all, tell us about yourself, and what makes Nic Harris Nic Harris.
Man, first off, what makes me me is I'm just trying to be 1% better every day, better than the man that I was yesterday. Secondarily, man, I'm just a product of a broken home from Alexandria, Louisiana. Unfit parents. I emancipated myself when I was 15, declared myself a product of the state, was adopted by my guidance counselor. And, I was a kid that was raised by a village. Ended up leaving Alexandria. I was 16, went to Oklahoma, and the rest is pretty much history.
Yeah. So Nick, you graduated high school at 16?
I graduated high school. Yeah, I left. I left 16.
That's wild.
I left at 16. I took AP courses. By the time that I got to college, I was considered a sophomore based on all the advanced placement courses in which that I've taken. Had over 65 scholarships. Could have went to LSU, but we're not going to talk about that.
That was actually one of my questions.
Yeah, that was going to be one of mine too.
Well, I'll go ahead and answer it. Ultimately, whenever I was coming out, that was when Coach Saban had took the Miami Dolphins job, so they didn't have a coach.
Gotcha.
And I didn't want to go to a team that didn't have a coach. So, and I wanted to win. So yeah.
Let me ask you this: I understand the LSU thing, but why Oklahoma? Out of all the schools you could have ended up at, why Oklahoma?
Well, the truth behind it is I was originally committed to the University of Michigan because they had told me on being a defensive Heisman. I was at the time I was number 1 in the Southeast, number 3 in the country, and Michigan has a lot of history. I ended up selecting my top 5 was LSU, A&M, Oklahoma, Michigan, and Nebraska. And to be completely honest with you, 2 weeks prior to signing day, I ended up getting double pneumonia. And I was in the hospital quarantine. They thought I had meningitis, this, that, and the other in Central Louisiana. The coaches from Oklahoma They had just played in the Big 12 against the Darren Sproles K-State team. They had just played in the Big 12 championship game that Saturday. They had took a PJ to come see me that Sunday in the hospital, and I was like, "There's no way I couldn't go anywhere else." So that's what pretty much helped me. Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. And I'll tell you this too.
You literally, yeah.
No, go ahead, Pooh. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you literally just answered my question. My next question was, what made you choose Oklahoma? But listen, I know you've done interviews before. I don't know how you got my notes, but you were answering everything before I can't even ask. Hey, you make my job. Hold on, let me just keep my feet up.
And look, I'll say this too, Nick. Of course, we play for the same high school, from the same area, Alexandria, and I played for Coach Cook. He was my defensive coordinator, and he was yours also. And I can always remember, my freshman year, he would always brag on you, and he'd brag on Chris Brown. And he'd always say, no matter what, you can't take away, they're excellent players, but you can't take away, their degrees, right? And we know that, you're a very motivated individual. And not only that, I honestly didn't even know you finished high school at the age of 16. That's crazy. But he would always say, no matter what, Nick got a kinesiology degree. You know what I'm saying? He would always tell us that. So, he stressed to us how important, getting that education was. And then he would also have his choice words for us on the football field, too. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say, man, just talk us through, what it was. Because we know you come from a broken home. But, man, you have the obstacles that you had to go through to get to where you are today. Just kind of give us, what motivated you and how did you keep going, bro? Because I know it was tough, that, and honestly, there wasn't a roadmap. Nobody from my looking at it, nobody in your life, unless I know different, did what you did. So explain to us how,
No, and that's not me beating my chest. That's me being honest.
Yeah.
But I'm a product of praying grandmothers.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I am. I'm a product of that 100%. Ultimately, at the end of the day, is I built everything that I am and everything that I aspire to be off of survival. I just knew I had to make it. I knew that I'm the oldest of 9, and I got 3 other adopted sisters as well. And I knew that I had to be that lighthouse for them, that no matter how bleak it may have sounded or seemed for me, that, he kept going, this, that, and the other. So though that people may not give you their flowers while you're here, I know that people are watching. I know that people, they might not tell you because of ego and pride and this, that, and the other, and that's perfectly fine. I know that that's not a direct reflection of who I am, but a direct reflection of who they are. And my job is to continue to be, a great son, father, brother, as I possibly can be, a great humanitarian.
Yeah,
that's real, bro. That's real.
Dope.
Let me ask you this: How, after your NFL career, like how was it transitioning? You know what I mean? When you realized that, okay, maybe football is over for me. Like how do you accept that, and how do you transition away from football?
Well, also let me ask you this, Nick, and I don't mean to interrupt, but tell us why your football career ended, because I know it was injuries, right?
Right. So ultimately, man, I came out. I was highly touted. I was supposed to be top 10 draft overall coming out of college. I was number 1 safety in the country at the time, collegiately. And I ended up, I played the national championship game, which is one of the last games of the year, obviously. And then I had to go to Senior Bowl, had a award ceremony up for the Jim Thorpe, the Butkus, all these awards, this, that, and the other coming out, All-America. And then we had Combine and Senior Bowl. So I had a very, very minute opportunity to train. Ultimately, what happened was, when I went through the whole process of running and stuff, I ended up pulling my hand. This is a story that hadn't been told, but I pulled my hamstring at the Senior Bowl and pulled out and didn't play in the game. Tried to actively rehab or whatever, and went to Combine. And ultimately, the day before I ended up running, my agent was like, "Listen, you got to run this in order for you to, this, that, and the other." And obviously, I ended up running slower than what we thought because of that said injury. But it was what it was. It was all in God's plan. So I ended up getting drafted. It's all about placement. So it's ended up getting drafted to Buffalo. Extremely grateful and thankful for that community. Also prayers for those families that are up there in the 816. But yeah, I ended up having over 9 knee surgeries, man.
Wow.
So, and in the 4 years that I played, I had roughly 4 different coaches. My body just failed me. It was nothing. I called it, for me, I was going for broke. I was going to give it every, my philosophy is I'm going to give it all I got for as long as I got it. And that's pretty much what I was doing until I couldn't, you know, I had to say, no, I can't do this anymore. At what point is it no longer sane? Did it turn into, you know, being insane?
Yeah, I got you. So after you know, once you got to that point where you realized you couldn't do it anymore, what's next? Where do you go from there?
Well, that's crazy because I still play football. So I literally went from being the guy that was in the game to being the guy that's in the game. So ultimately, I make the game that people are playing now. So nothing stops.
Yeah. So how do you get connected with Madden to, you know, to do all that? How did that come about?
Being a great person. To be completely honest with you, there were people that spoke positively about me in my absence than what that I wasn't in. It wasn't nothing that I did. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, the good Lord was, you know, it took a bit of luck. And the good Lord looking out. But yeah, it was, you know, it was kissing babies and shaking hands. I'm being dead ass. I don't know, sorry.
Yeah. You good. As long as you ain't dropping the F-bomb like some fool on this show did a couple episodes ago. Over Popeye's French fries at that. That was Popeyes. I apologize.
That's wild. But yeah, no, my very first gig was Best Man Holiday, and it was like a year out of me playing. And they were like, "Hey, listen, you want to shoot a movie?" And I was like, "What?" They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do some choreographed football." And I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." We shot that with Morris Chestnut, Sanaa Lathan, Terrence Howard, and then we shot it up in Buffalo and Toronto. And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, sure. You know, give me something to do." We went up there and we shot that for about 7 days straight. And then about 20 days after that, I got the check and I said, "I can make this without having a headache." I said, "Run it. Let's go. Let's go."
Yeah. I heard that.
So let me ask this question. You were in the Best Man Holiday because I saw, you know, so I know a lot of people, we jump to it, say, you know, you're in Madden, Best Man Holiday, Focus, and the American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story.
Right.
In Best Man Holiday, were you? I'm trying to figure out because I know the football scenes when he was trying to break. Morris Chestnut was trying to break the record or his character.
Right.
Were you on the defensive side, offensive side?
Correct. So ultimately I was the antagonist to Morris's character. So all the big hits in the beginning, that was all me. You know, whenever they zoom in and whatever, and they have that hero scene, whenever he look up and, you know, I don't know if you remember part of the movie where his wife got diagnosed with cancer and he took the phone from the phone call from Terrence on the sideline. I was like, yeah. And then they zoom in to me, they zoom in to him, and it was like cool. It was like mano a mano in that moment, the hero moment.
Wow,
dope. That's dope.
Wow,
I love it.
Wow. So we do have a question in the chat for you from our good friend Chance. It says, "Nick, you played football in Brazil. What was that like?"
Yeah. So ultimately, one of my guys who had played ball at Alexandria Senior High, he didn't necessarily make it, you know, to the next step. So he ended up becoming a coach abroad. So he coached. I moved to Italy for a year for him, sort of, you know, to help him out as well. But I went down to Brazil for 6 months, played down there. I had over about 100 touchdowns, 200 interceptions. It was amazing.
Bro, I see you were like catching.
Yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
It seemed like you was catching the ball, you was throwing the ball to yourself, kicking the ball, returning the ball.
I did it all.
I did see that, and but when I saw it on Wikipedia. I was like, he been in here editing. But nah. I got listen, on my Wikipedia page. I've thrown for 4,000 yards in 3 games. And no,
on PlayStation.
So
no, it was no, just to know, I would be remiss to say thank you to that young man, because he gave me an opportunity to continue to play my career, though that it wasn't at the level that I was playing at. So I do just want to give him his flowers as well, and just say thank you, because that afforded me an opportunity to start to see the world through a different lens.
Yeah, dope.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you this, because
go ahead, Pooh.
Okay, because Danny has we have one of our listeners, Danny in the chat says, being a great person is on you. Your choices each day made you a great person. That got you those opportunities. Love the humility. Which brings me to a question I have. You have a lot of accomplishments under your belt. You have a lot of you're a very Googleable person. I'll put it like that. What keeps you humble?
Because I know that at the end of the day, man, as quick as I got everything that I have, it could be taken away. like, every day I wake up with a grateful heart, and I know that whatever I did yesterday really doesn't matter, because the things I do today could easily change all of those things. So for me, it's not about being humble or humility. This is just who I am. I stand 10 toes in my own conviction on a daily basis.
Dope. Let me ask you this question too, Nick. So I grew up in a fatherless home too, single mother, and but I want to ask you, as a father, because you had your daughter was born your senior year of college, right? Or right before you went to the NFL.
My daughter was born a week before draft. Yeah,
a week before draft. So what is it like being a father? You know what I'm saying? As far as you didn't have maybe you did, but it seems like you possibly didn't have the best father figure every day.
No, I did have an adopted dad, and I got some amazing grandfathers, but ultimately does that take the place of that absentee ballad of a father? Not necessarily, but me having my daughter was probably my greatest creation. And if it did, and if I wasn't driven enough already, that added a certain level or layer to my level of drive that, like, I gotta make it. I have no choice but to make it.
Right.
So, but to answer your question, it's amazing being a dad, man, because there's no manual. They don't give you don't give you cliff notes to this, man. We all learn. We all I read the books. They lied. The books lied.
Boy, you better preach.
It's trial by error, bro. It's trial by error as a parent.
My mom, who I consider to be my mom, who was a young lady who was with my father, was extremely paramount in the learning curve for me, because I was a single dad, a rookie in the NFL. Listen, it was wild. It was a wild 8 to 10 months in the beginning. So ultimately, man, my mom ended up quitting her job and moving to Buffalo with me to help, and so it was like, wow.
That's dope.
Wow.
That's real,
hey,
bro.
Nick, how old was your mom whenever she had you?
My biological mom, naturally my biological. She was 16. 16. She was 16 when she had me, and then my father at the time was 18 when he had me.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's real though.
All right, so let me ask you something. Go ahead, Ant. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I admire you, dog, for the transparency, the authenticity, the humility, and just from it ain't easy making it, from fatherless home and all that, just making it out of that, but much less making it to the heights that you made it to, and checking off some of those bucket list things that everybody wanted to be in Madden, bro. Did you actually doing it? You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut. I get calls now, and I'm like, listen, bro, it ain't nothing I can do for you, fam. Like, I'm under contract to like 2026, and like, listen, I'm gonna do what I need to do. But no, I think that the story is great. The book's gonna be out here shortly. Yeah. But and ultimately, and that's gonna and I'm telling everything. So if in the event that you listen, you better hope my CTE kick in sooner rather than later.
You airing it all out, huh?
I'm airing it out. I'm talking about, we couldn't talk about guns, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm airing it out. I'm talking about from home life to league life to things that were said to me from teachers that you're not gonna make this. I remember it all, and all I did was put that on. But all I did was put a battery in my back. Everything that was negative that was ever told to me was put it, because you didn't know. Like, literally, this is a story. Speaking of, at Alexandria Senior High, Coach Cook was our DC. Coach Stoker was our head coach. He was a legendary coach in the state. Well, he tried to kick me off the team one time because he didn't even know that I had to go to work. I had 4 jobs when I was in high school.
Jeez.
So I would have to leave. So literally, I would have to leave. I would have to leave practice early because I was working. I had a 5 to 9. I was playing shoes at Champ Sport.
Yeah.
I was from 5 to 9 during the week in high school and had a Friday night game. Yeah. I would have to leave early, and he thought I was leaving early because I thought that I was more than. And my guidance counselor had to pull him to the side and was like, "Bro, you tripping? You're mad tripping because you don't even know what this kid doing."
Yeah.
Salute to that guidance counselor though, for real though.
100%.
Oh yeah, Kelly Welch. Yeah, Kelly Welch, man, amazing.
Yeah, and that was also your adopted mother too, right?
Yeah,
Miss Welch.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually got two questions for you. I asked this first one from our girl Danny. She says, "Ask Nick, with your journey through the state system as a child, that had to emancipate and was adopted, is there one person you have that was a great cheerleader or motivator in your life? Oh, just a little background. If I'm not mistaken, Danny is a social worker. So
she is.
That piqued that your story piqued her interest. So she not just being nosy.
No, you're fine. It is what it is. Like each one teach one. As far as I'm concerned, no, there wasn't really a cheerleader. I mean, I'm gonna take a page out of Coach Saban's book and say, if you need a cheerleader, then you're here for the wrong reason. But did I have people that made sure that I was on the right track? Like I said, I'm a product of a praying grandmother. You know, like I said, you know, and things that happened, the things that I heard, I picked up on. She, you know, my maternal grandmother is probably the strongest woman I know I've ever met in my life. And some of the things that I heard and the talks and this, that, and the other that I had to, you know, upon my upbringing, I remember to this day.
Gotcha.
But to answer your question, you know, it wasn't necessarily a cheerleader, man. It was a village. You know, it was literally, I was running through the tunnel before I knew what a tunnel was. I had people on both sides of the street that was rooting for me. You know, those that I had to emancipate myself, I didn't necessarily go through the actual state process because I had people that actually stepped in and was like, nah, we'll take him for this long and we'll take him for that long. And I even had guys that were on my team that I stayed at their houses. You know, I had a group in high school called ourselves the Fab Five. You know, Chris McGee, Lee Foray, Jonathan Neely, Kel Smith, you know, and 3 of the 5 were Caucasian families in Alexandria, Louisiana. That's literally separated by a road called MacArthur. Yeah. And these families, and these families took me in and were like, listen, just bring a pair of clothes to school today, and you can stay here, and you could, you know, that way the commute. That, you know, so I was in the hood, literally the hood. Like, you know, the cheerleaders, to be honest with you, was probably drug dealers. That whenever I did get off, whenever I did come home, because my mom worked graveyard at the time, they was like, nah, Nick, you go home. You the son, like we rooting for you.
Yeah. That's
so
real.
That's real. All right. So the next question comes from Rich. We never mind. That's the Alabama guy. But he says, transitioning from the league, what were those steps like? How did the retirement process actually work from the league?
I had to deal. I'm still dealing with the legal process of legal ramifications of like trying to get surgeries with my knees and this, that, and the other. I pretty much just jumped into the entertainment industry. I took about a year off to try to figure out what I was going to do. That level of slight depression that stepped in because it was like, man, as a guy, I tried to do, you know, I've ascribed to be this person or to cheat to be this person for, you know, 22, 23 odd years. Now I got a guy in a suit and tie telling me that it's over. Yeah. I was like, you know, and then that's
never played the game before.
Never played the game, you know what I mean? But, you know, ultimately I looked at the situation. It's like, okay, cool. What do I do now? And I talked to the Lord, and the Lord said, I got you. So I got a phone call, and I shot that first movie. Then I started shooting commercials. Then I just went down to Brazil for a bit, and then I came back, and then we shot Focus down in New Orleans with Will Smith. And I was like, okay, cool. This is what it is. But like, let's be very remiss. You know, the American Underdog movie that just dropped on Christmas Day. How many people you know got a movie that dropped on Christmas Day? I'm not Will Smith. I'm just Nick from Alexandria. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm my name is number 3 in the credits in that movie. That's big if you know what that means. That's really, really big. And a lot of people think that it happened overnight. No, man, I've been doing this since 2013.
Right.
Grinding.
2022, and I just got my first major, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, it's kind of like the pregnancy. You know, a lot of people, they congratulate you on the baby, but they don't know how much you've been.
That's
real. Mountain.
Yeah, that's real.
All right. Rich has another question. Rich trying to I don't know, come up tonight. All right. Well, he says, in the locker room, who did you witness as a leader who is not normally, I guess, recognized in the media as a leader? So I guess who's somebody that you play with?
Next question. That question. He got to word it better. Yeah, he got to word it better.
Let me ask you this, Nick, about your NFL teammates. So I know you play with T.O., and you also play with Marshawn Lynch, and I know you said you had a pretty good relationship with those guys. So just being around T.O., being around Marshawn, man, what was that like? Because we know T.O. is a character, but not only that, we know Marshawn is not just a character, but the dude is, when it comes to money and business, he's very savvy.
Yeah, I mean, those are my brothers. To be completely honest, these are 2 of the cats that took me in as a young guy that knew, that saw the level of potential that I had or whatever, and was like, listen, we're gonna show you the ropes. Because it's like, You know, you get to the league because you got all the intangibles, but you don't know everything. You know, the game move a lot faster. The money come a lot quicker. You can get to a lot of trouble real fast. So ultimately, these guys took me in and were like, listen, bro, you look a certain way, you move a certain way, you go about your business a certain way, and we're going to make sure that you keep it this way to make sure that you stay here as long as you possibly can.
That's dope.
That's real.
So I don't care what anybody got to say about those two guys, man. Me personally, those two guys pretty much made sure as a professional, that's pretty much who I am and how I went about my business.
Yeah. But you know, you kind of answer what Rich was saying, because the media never really portrays Marshawn or T.O. really as a leader. You know, they always say that they, you know, head cases or problem makers, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So
but that's a critic though. A critic is somebody who can't do what you do, and they sit around and talk about it on they tactics and Twitter feeds and this, that, and the other. Yeah. We don't pay attention to that, man. So at the end of the day, listen, they're gonna make you out to be a villain as long as somebody gonna listen. You understand?
Let me ask you this to kind of piggyback off that. Does that kind of stuff permeate the locker room? Do you know what I mean? Do they hear the outside noise in the locker room?
Yeah, you hear it. If anybody tell you don't hear the outside noise, they're lying. Especially with now, it's too many social media outlets. You hear it. But now, there's the difference between us hearing it and not letting it affect you. So ultimately, you go hear stuff. We've heard about all kinds of stuff growing up and trying to get to this level that people hadn't gotten to. You know, we all understand what haters are or naysayers or this, that, and the other. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like, does it affect you?
Yeah.
Right. Well, so I guess for me too, I do want to ask you this. I don't know how much time we got left, but you played against Tebow in the national championship game, and
he played against me. Played against me.
All right, he played. So what was that whole experience like, man? Because I know you bust him up, man. We was all watching it as a team, and it was like, yeah, let's go. So what was that like, bro?
If we scored twice on the one on offense, you don't hear it. You don't know who Tim Tebow is.
Yeah.
I picked him off in the game. Gerald McCoy picked him off in the game, and we had the momentum going in the halftime. Halftime score should have been 21-0.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not placing blame on nobody because you win and you lose as a team.
Yeah.
But I played my ass off, you know. So
yeah, you balled that game.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that game then. I'm gonna have to go back.
You ain't got to look too far.
I
heard that.
A lot of people don't know where they were. I know where I was during that game. I missed the whole game. I was just like, oh, well, Florida playing. Florida.
I didn't watch that game either. I didn't watch the game either live. I was following on my phone, but
I watched, man. We had to show our guys some support. But I wanted to ask this question too, man. So of course we know that OU within the next couple of years is coming to the SEC, right? You got a new coach in Venables, and you play for Venables, right?
He's not new. He's not new. He just took a sabbatical. He's the same coach. He's OU. Yeah.
But new head coach though.
I mean, he was in the head coach position when I was there. He was my DC, but I promise you, no decisions were made without him speaking with Stoops and Stoops speaking with him. So he was already he was a head coach. He was a head coach in waiting.
Gotcha. So what are your expectations for OU?
I expect us to win the big show within the next 3 years.
I like it.
And that's against the Louisiana people.
Let me
we want
talk
all
that stuff.
You gotta come to Norman. You got to come to Norman. And that first game that OU played down in Baton Rouge, I assure you, I will be down the sidelines.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I like it. Let me ask you this though.
We want it all.
Do y'all want? Let me ask you this. Lincoln Riley, what's your relationship, or what's your thought about him leaving and basically ducking the SEC, but saying that ain't what it was?
Bro, you can call it whatever you want. Listen, if they're gonna pay you $40 million to live in Los Angeles, go.
I feel it. So you ain't mad at him for taking the money? I'm
not mad at that man, bro. That man got a family fee, and his job is he went from ECU to be the head coach at OU, 9-year SCA. Man, I applaud that man. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's real.
Listen, I'm not worried about my university. We're gonna be fine either way. Listen, we are in the Mecca. You would be dumb not to take that gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In 3 to 4 years, who's to say I might not be back there coaching? So,
Okay. I like it.
Okay.
Well, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. Hey, I know you said 3 years. I don't see it happening in 3 years. I wish OU luck because I actually live in Tulsa, so I wish OU luck, but I don't see it happen, dog.
That's crazy. Well, I hope you listen. If you're a bet man, I take Zelle, Cash App.
Hey, and these two right here, and Poop Bet, they'll bet you.
Hey, 3 years. 3 years.
I like it. So wait a minute. So OU was coming to the SEC in 2 years, right?
Exactly. That's why I said 3.
You saying the first year they get in the SEC, they're gonna make it to the net, they're gonna win it all.
Bing bong.
Dang.
Well, it was good having you on, Nick.
Yeah.
We gonna have to.
I respect the confidence. I respect the confidence. The first time OU in Baton Rouge, we gonna be down there. We gonna link up.
Hey,
we
bringing Nick back up.
I'll definitely be there for sure.
For sure.
We gotta bring you back up, man.
But I do. Before we go, I got one more question for you. This one might be a little softball. Celtics, Golden State. Who you got finishing it off?
I got Golden State easy.
Ooh, okay.
Easy.
Golden State easy.
I said,
yeah, they shouldn't have. If the Celtics are going to take it, they should have won a couple days ago.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I
agree with that.
You gave
I agree with that. That's fair. I give you that.
And that's the thing, man. You have if you have your foot on their neck, you got to finish through.
Yeah, you had home court, and you gave it back to Golden State.
It's hard to win two more in San Fran. Yeah,
you got to win at least one in Golden State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Shout out to LeBron, but
for what?
He did it. He definitely did it. He definitely did it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But nah, Nick.
Kyrie did it.
All right, we can talk about that one later. We can talk about that one later because Kyrie ain't making.
Hey, but Nick, what's the name of your book, man? What's the name of your book you got coming out?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know whenever everything gets solidified. But just look out in around Christmas is when the book will be dropping. So
okay,
perfect, man. You actually, before we do let you go, you actually or if I read correctly, you're doing a lot of stuff to kind of help out Alexandria and other places and stuff.
Look out, man. June 25th. Yeah, go ahead. June 25th, I'm holding my campus free camp for kids from 6 to 16 at Alexandria Senior High from 9 to 1. All you got to do is go to the link. My link is thenickharris.com and have your kids sign up. It might be too late, but if the portal's still open, go ahead and do your thing. The only thing we ask is donations. That's the only thing I'm asking. If people want to donate.
How can we donate, Nick?
I can send a link, or I can put it in the Facebook portal, and they let you know.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the free kids are gonna get swag bags, shirts, food. Got a couple of guys that are coming in, maybe a couple of guys that we mentioned on this show. Yeah. And it's gonna help, just helping the kids, whatever. And it's 100%, at no cost to them.
Awesome. And I've actually worked one of your camps before, and my little brother, he attended pretty much all of them. He played fast, but yeah, man, awesome camp. You always had D1 guys, highly professional guys that always came through, and it was always free.
It's always free. I don't believe in charging the kids, man. That's crazy. So I'm gonna do what I can.
Man, respect.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on. We look forward to having you back. It might not, it might not take 3 years, but we'll we'll see. I hope Oklahoma get one before they get to the SEC and bring all that with them, and
we can bring you on for that.
And then we can
when they get to the SEC.
How about this? So when we do win it, I'll bring y'all along.
Okay.
I like it.
I like it.
Let's go.
We can talk about how y'all just sit back and watch us do what I said.
That's fair. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for coming on, though, brother. Appreciate you.
Man. Listen, the pleasure is all mine, man. I greatly appreciate the opportunity, man. If I can leave one message, man, to anybody that's listening, man, just always be a good person.
For sure.
Hey,
for sure.
Definitely, man. If let me say this, if I've learned anything is no matter how far you make it, so always be humble and don't let any situation slow you down. That's what I can take from this and it can pass on to mine. So I appreciate you for that. You did mention that you're a father. So happy early Father's Day. We might not always, we don't always get the,
we get socks and t-shirts, man.
Right. Come on, man.
I say this, and I want to say this too, though, bro. You mentioned, everybody might not give you their flowers, at the moment. So from us here at the Golden Boot, we want to give you yours, for everything you're doing and every, on and off the field, I say. But continue doing what you're doing, brother. Continue, making change and impacting people's lives, brother.
Definitely, man.
For sure, man. I greatly appreciate it.
I'll say this too, man. Just keep making Alexandria proud, bro. Because we root for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud. I'm proud to say.
I'm glad y'all ain't leave it to him to make Alexandria proud.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. But no, man. Man. I'm rooting for you, bro. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, we are. We
appreciate your legacy and everything you're doing.
Yep. I greatly appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Nic Harris. You can catch him in Old Spice commercial. That's when I didn't ask him about Old Spice, in the Madden.
I wanted to ask him about NCAA too, man. God damn.
Oh, man.
All right, I guess we're just going to have to bring him back on the show.
We're going to have to bring him back. He's going to have to come back now. So, all right. Fellas, before we get going, let's take a quick break, and we'll keep this thing rolling. All right, so we'll be back in 30.
The Golden Boot Pod is proud to announce that merchandise is now available. We have everything from t-shirts and hoodies, to hats and beanies, to drinkware, to wearables and blankets. You can find it all under the merchandise tab at thegoldenboot.podbean.com or go directly to thegoldenboot.com. As always, thank you for supporting the Golden Boot Pod.
All right, we back. We brought up the question. We brought up the question about the NBA Finals. Let me go ahead and do this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh Lord,
y'all have asked for him. Y'all have been saying, where he at? Where is Chris? Chris ain't. Y'all kick Chris off the show. We ain't kick Chris nowhere. Chris is in the building.
Honey bun.
What's up, guys?
Go, Chris, do it.
What's up?
Hercules.
Daniel want me to do it. That's what I do. I don't do that to you, Daniel, if we played, y'all.
Bro, chill out.
For real.
All right, so we brought up the NBA Finals. Everybody on Twitter Space knows. Oh, my bad. So
what he said, I didn't even see what he said.
Are you serious? Sports did post a question earlier, or post a comment. Said Daniel looks like he just got done mowing the grass at his suburban home in Westchester when he greets his neighbors and says, "Howdy, neighbor."
That's funny. Hey,
Daniel, get out.
I don't get out. I don't my grass.
No, he said you don't get out.
Hey, my wife in his comments too. Julie, fire him up.
Chill out, man. Hey,
don't bring your wife in this. That
I'll just play.
All right. But everybody who in Twitter Spaces know how big of a big of a Steph Curry fan you are. So far we're at 2-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Boston.
Game 5 tomorrow night.
Yeah, Game 5 in Boston tomorrow night. I'm sorry, Game 5 in Golden State tomorrow night. San Francisco. Boston pretty much fumbled the bag. Chris, how are you feeling now about Golden State?
I felt just like Nick was feeling. I felt like they had us where they wanted us, and they dropped the ball and gave us home court back. And I think we win the series in 7.
Hey, Chris, I agree with you, my brother. I agree.
I'm holding out faith. Boston in 7. I said that originally, so people was like that. 5, 6. I'm holding out faith.
I actually think Boston win the next one, and we beat them in Boston.
Oh, But this is why I don't. It may be tough because those fans starting to get to them, man. Those fans are starting to get to them.
Last time.
Nah, but whenever you start commenting about the fans, bro, they in your head.
What you think?
Go ahead, God dog it.
I'm just listening back here. I'm just trying
Go
to see
ahead,
what y'all.
man. Say what you gotta say.
All right, let me ask you this, Chris. Game 4, Boston didn't score in like they was like 0 for 7 in like for like a 5-minute stretch. Is that gonna happen again in this series?
Right. No, I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens every night, but it possibly can happen again. I'll go to state. Boston only been better to us in the and
be careful
1, 2, 3.
Be careful now. Be careful now.
That was the game they won. That was the game they won in Boston.
Be careful now.
So
y'all have good third quarters. Y'all have good third quarters, and then Boston has good fourth quarters. They just didn't have a good fourth quarter last game, and that's the reason why y'all won. Is Steph Curry gonna go for 43 every game? I didn't say can he.
I don't think he go for 43.
He can.
I don't think he.
I know he can. Game. I know he can, but will he? Because he's gonna need to for y'all to win.
Yeah. Boston got a top level defense, so it's gonna be hard to score 40.
My point exactly.
Hold up.
If you look at it, if he can get us 30.
And then when all the boys from Boston hitting too, bro, it'd be nasty.
If you look at it, bro, if you look at it, Curry, every game y'all won, Curry has had a MVP outrageous type of game. He's gonna have to do that for y'all to win.
I don't care about the NBA, but I kind of want Golden State to win just for Chris because he deserves for something he believes to be true for once.
That's funny, dog.
Hey, I've been true for 3 times in my life. So
when one of those times,
LSU won the national championship.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't talking about what Golden State won that time. I was wrong. I was dead wrong in 2019.
Are you talking about what Golden State won them 3 years?
Yeah. All right. So actually, here we go. Because this gonna transition. Side note says Draymond needs to stop playing like he's in the G League.
I have a thought on that.
Rich follows it, says he has more fouls than points. And that comes to the next topic. Draymond versus the fans. Are the fans into Draymond?
Before we get to that, let me say this. Draymond is the same Draymond that he always has been. The reason why it's getting magnified this series is because Klay and Jordan Poole aren't really stepping up and playing the way we thought they would. So whenever you look at Steph, he needs help on the offensive end. And so whenever
Draymond ain't a scorer.
He never has been. So why is everybody surprised that he's not scoring? The thing is, the way Boston is playing them defensively, they're daring Draymond to score. They're daring him to take shots, and they're daring him to drive to the goal because they know it's not his game. But he's so confident as a player that he thinks he's going to punish you for that type of stuff, and he's falling into the trap. It's just getting magnified. If Klay and Poole was hitting shots, Golden State would be winning. So nobody would be talking about Draymond. But whenever they lose and you look at Draymond and he has 2 points but 5 fouls, then it's easy for him to be a target. Especially when he's the type of player that he is.
But can you also say Draymond? Is Draymond focused? Is he focused? Because he has a lot going on outside of basketball.
Let me ask you this. 2 series ago, whenever they was beating Memphis, was anybody saying that he had too much going on?
Nah, it was.
What was he doing? What was
the exact same thing he doing now? Yeah, the exact same thing. The only difference was Poole and Klay was balling, so it wasn't no magnifying glass on Draymond.
Yeah.
That's the big factor though. And Klay and Poole gonna have to step up for us. But
as far as him and the fans, I agree that Boston fans are getting to them. And it's not just him. It's like whenever you hear Klay saying, "Oh, that's real classic cursing," in front of kids and stuff like that. Like their fans haven't done the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
every fan base does that.
anytime you start commenting on the fans, you know what I mean. They in your head. They in your head. And then Draymond, the referees is what's in Draymond's head. It's not the fans. It's the referees.
He need to stop talking to the refs. So
do you remember whenever what was that, game 2 or game 3, when he was supposed to get ejected in the second quarter, and they didn't give him another technical foul, and the dude from ESPN even was like, "Well, we're not gonna give him a technical because he's already got one." And then after the game, he was like, he even kind of bragged about, they're not gonna throw me out the game like that.
This is a no. Definitely not. I'm good.
But yeah,
I love your brother,
but yeah.
Nah,
get that donation, but
that's my thing. My thing is it's the referees with Draymond. That boy said the donation.
I think Curry got something to prove, man. I think he gonna put up crazy numbers for the rest of the series.
Well, of course he is.
He's gonna have to.
He don't have an MVP yet.
I don't think that ain't got nothing to do with it. To me, he for y'all to win, he has to go off like that.
I think he's gonna go off every game. I don't think he's gonna be 43, but he's gonna score 30 a game.
He scored 30. He scored 30 game 3 and y'all lost.
Oh, I just realized who this was. Hey, Mr. Perp said, "Is that Mr. Perp? Chris, bring me my money."
Joseph swallow Mr. Perk.
That ain't Mr. Perk, man.
There ain't no way that's Mr. Perk.
That can't be Mr. Perk.
Come on, man.
The series, the series tied, Mr. Perk. We even. You gotta wait the game.
Mr. Perk, you didn't tell us your name was Joseph.
Hey,
oh man.
Hey, so a podcaster friend of ours has made a comment. Says Draymond is caught up in those podcast moments. That stuff will get to you. I think he knows. I think he's made some comments on a podcast before, and people have said some things to him. So,
yeah. I mean, this is my thing about Draymond. Draymond was podcasting all season.
He did a halftime podcast. Yeah. He did a halftime podcast?
I didn't see the halftime podcast. I don't know if that's true or not. But my thing about he been podcasting. Terrible. So he been podcasting. That you can't, like, if that's a focus thing, then you could have said something about that whenever he was playing good. But why didn't you?
But you gotta look at it like this too. Everyone winning covers all. Winning covers all. Whenever you start losing, whenever you start not performing, and your team is not winning.
But it's not on the podcast. They're gonna start looking on the podcast. It's on the Celtics. It's on the Celtics. Give the Celtics credit. How about we do that for a change?
No, I get that. But the first thing people are gonna go to is what is he doing different? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing. He's been doing it all year.
I think that people just not recognizing
last time.
But yes, what about the Draymond that's got a triple double with no points? We don't even see that. He ain't getting 10 rebounds. He ain't getting 8.
He getting bodied.
Okay, check this out. What he did game 4. Go look at the stats. Go look at the stats from game 4. He almost had a triple double with no. That was game 3. Game 4 he had like 8 rebounds, 9 assists, or something like that. He played a lot better game 4, but nobody talks about it. They just talk about him being benched in the end of the game.
You know why? Because Draymond talks too much. People. That's what bothers people. I think is that the talking. It's when you talk. Perfect example. Eli Apple.
He had 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, 2 turnovers. But everybody only talk about the 2 points, 3 fouls. He got more fouls than turn. He had a good game. That's Draymond playing Draymond game right there.
I think Pooh makes a good point too, though.
Yeah,
about the Eli Apple and the comparison.
Yeah, Eli Apple. So because Eli Apple. People talked about him, especially as New Orleans fans, because the way he's talked about the Saints and stuff. He's when you start running your mouth and then you don't perform.
I disagree. The reason why I say that, when was Eli Apple ever good? Ever?
See, but here's the thing.
He had a couple good games.
Draymond is the reason Golden State got rings, bro.
So this is my point. This is my I'm not gonna agree with that. This is my point.
You comparing the 3-time champion to a dude who's never done anything.
I get that, but this is what I'm saying. When Eli Apple makes a play or two or whatever, because we can't take it away from him. The play at the end of the half against Kansas City. Yeah, that pretty much that might
that was one play.
One play. He almost had to pick the game in the end of that game too. He had pass breakup. But here's my thing. regardless, when you start chirping and you start talking, people are going to automatically start going against you, especially when you start losing.
That's fair, but what I'm saying
I'm
is
not
this better be able to back it up.
Okay, hold on. This is the same Draymond since he came out of Michigan State. Eli Apple was never talking, and then he all of a sudden started talking whenever his team started winning. That's two totally different. His two totally different comparisons. You could compare Draymond to somebody like Chauncey Gardner or somebody like that who've been talking since they came in the league. Mm-hmm. But Eli Apple never started. That's why people came at Eli so much, because they're like, dude, you trash, and you only talking because you're on a good team right now. It's totally. I get what you're saying, but I don't like that comparison. The thing about that,
always been talk. I think he always
that boy was never saying nothing. His
mama
used to talk for him. But anyway, the thing about Draymond,
I ain't talking about nobody mama right now.
I'm not talking. I'm just stating the fact.
I know what you're saying.
The thing about Draymond is he's easy to hate. You get what I'm saying? And whenever the Warriors was the favorite to win and they not winning, he's the easy scapegoat. That's the thing about Draymond.
Okay, well let me ask this then.
It's like two things can be right. You know what I mean? Draymond could not be playing good, but he could also not be the reason they lose. And whenever you look at guys like Poole and Clay not doing their part neither, Draymond was never gonna score 10 points a game, ever.
So let me ask this question, because this was actually a question I had. I think we mentioned it before. Since I can't say Eli Apple, let me ask this: Richard Sherman.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
That's a good comparison.
That's a good one. But that's the thing. When Richard Sherman get burnt, he just get burnt. You know what I mean? When Richard Sherman get burnt, nobody ever be like, oh, well, Richard Sherman did an interview on Tuesday this week. That's why he got burnt. No, he just got burnt. You get what I'm saying? So why, whenever Draymond have a bad game, do you blame it on everything he's doing off the court instead of just saying, hey, Draymond playing bad. He just playing bad.
Okay. Yeah, he's playing bad though. He ain't playing good.
All right. So do we want to move on to the NFL?
We can move on. No, you want to do NFL or you want to
let's do high school.
All right, let's do this. Let's do the high school then. Let's talk about one of the biggest things that happened in Louisiana.
Because I'm ready.
Select versus non-select. Now, I'm not from Louisiana. I kind of understand the concept. I'm gonna let somebody else break this one down, because I you know what I'm saying. Tell me about it. What select versus non-select? Who gonna take this?
And go ahead, dog. Anna, Chris, y'all explain it.
All right, so basically, that regular season of Louisiana high school football is just like every other state. But when it comes to playoff time, you have your private schools over here and your public schools over here. And they have two different brackets, two different state championships. So you had 9 state championships for a state as small as Louisiana. They did the split back in 2012 to try to make it more balanced and fair for public schools who were competing against private schools who have students that attend their school from outside their zone. So that's the reason why they did it. I'm not getting into whether that was the right or wrong decision, but that's just what it is. But a few weeks ago, the LHSA amended their select and non-select and added to where if you are a magnet school or if you are a school in an open enrollment parish, since technically kids can attend your school from outside of your zone, you will now be considered a select school just like a private school would be. And in my opinion, that's the right decision.
Me too. I like it.
It's the right decision. It's the right decision because if you're saying that private schools have an unfair advantage because they get kids from outside of their zone, then how is an open enrollment parish where you can live anywhere in the parish and attend that school? How is that any different from a private school?
Because in this particular situation, private schools, they can literally go get someone that lives in a completely different city.
You can too. You can too in an open enrollment parish. In an open enrollment parish, you can live in Mangum and go to school in Rayville. That's 2 different cities.
Yeah,
but they're in the same parish.
Same parish. I'm talking about kids that you know that Evangel, John Curtis, they went and got kids that wasn't even from the area.
We named 2 schools.
Okay, I'm naming. We can go down the list. We can go down the list. What when Southern Lab? No offense to Southern, but what happened with Southern Lab a couple of years ago?
The same thing that happened with Catholic. The same thing that's happened to some other public schools too. I mean, it happens everywhere, bro.
Just like in college.
This is the closest thing. This is the closest thing to making it fair as you can do, bro.
Yeah, you gotta. If you're gonna make it where the private schools can't get it, you're gonna have to do the magnet schools too. Because I can send my son to A-Meet from way over in Washington Parish.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So how because they're a magnet school, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how is that any different from a private school? They're going from a whole different parish.
Yep.
You can say, hold on, Chance. That's in theory. That's what magnet schools are about. Exactly. In theory, they are about education, but not. Sometimes they use their education as an excuse to get a good.
I guarantee you, that's what Kentwood and A-Meet. They ain't worried about no education. I'm sorry.
I mean, there was a magnet school in Monroe that went and got a kid from another parish to come there to play basketball. I ain't saying no names, but it is what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Why don't so you got a lot of powerhouse programs in the state of Louisiana? Why don't you just put all of them schools in a completely different classification?
That's what I said. That's what I said in Twitter Spaces the other night. In the select, the non-select split, and just make a 6A. Put the Edna Carrs, the John Curtis, the Catholics, and all them schools that everybody say have an unfair advantage. Just put them in 6A. Leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A alone, and put all them in a 6A.
Exactly.
And then let them battle each other out. The only problem with that is I don't know how you would handle districts and all that kind of stuff with a 6A, because I don't know how many schools would actually be, fall under that umbrella. Like you might have up here in North Louisiana, you might have West Monroe and Evangel ain't that good no more. So I don't even know who the other team up here would be. Right. You know what I mean? So how far do they got
Parkview. In Parkview and Shreveport?
Parkview Baptist.
Parkview pretty good.
No,
Cavalry.
Cavalry is the one that's good.
Parkway, who you talking about?
Yeah, okay. Calvary Baptist is a 1A school. You ain't putting them up there with Neville and all them kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? So just
am I right about that?
Yeah,
Parkway, Bossier City.
Yeah, Parkview Baptist is in Bossier City. Yeah.
Okay. But, quick question, because it was I think it was brought up in Twitter Spaces. This select versus non-select, has it hurt the, I guess you can say, out of conference? So the plays of like the different teams that normally used to play or these matchups, these dream matchups.
I don't think so.
They used to play. So. They used to play in the playoffs most of the time, I think that's good and bad to the split.
No, I'm not even talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about just like normal regular season. They don't play each other like they used to.
Play each other though.
They still play.
I'm saying they can, but they don't. I'm asking.
A lot of them do.
A lot of them actually, I see a lot more good games these past few years because of it. But
because back then you had to get the PowerPoints. Mm-hmm. When you gonna get the PowerPoints like Manning and Newman, you wouldn't have seen that back before the split.
Yeah, because they might have to play in the playoffs. But now they're in two different brackets, so it don't matter.
They gonna still get those PowerPoints from Newman in their playoff bracket.
But they ain't got to worry about
run two-way anyway. They finna run two-way. But they finna get the PowerPoints.
But see, that's the thing though. But back in the day, they might not play each other because I might have to see them in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm in a totally different bracket, so I ain't got to worry about playing for them.
Yeah, I knew Parkway was in both.
Yeah, Parkway. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Parkview though, but yeah, that's totally different.
But I like
Parkview was in Baton Rouge, I think.
They got Parkview Baptist.
Let me tell you about the split. Okay. Before they did the split, 1 through 3A, they was dominated by private schools. 4 and 5A, you can get it. You know how you live. You're gonna have Neville gonna beat anybody in private school. You're gonna have West Monroe, Acadiana. They can beat anybody. Right. 1 through 3A was dominated by private schools. John Curtis and
but see, that's the thing. John Curtis was playing 2A because the 4A schools was mad that they was playing up.
Yeah,
nobody wanted to play. Even though I think Neville would have beat him. I think Neville.
I don't know, man.
Hey, from like 04 to 07.
Well,
like John Curtis was running stuff, dog.
Yeah, I'm talking about at 2011 back.
Yeah, but then they came with the split and then made them before the split. They made them play back to their regular classification because the big schools was tired of Evangel and John Curtis winning at 4 and 5A. So they put them back to 1 and 2A, and they was massacring people.
But you know what I don't like. So like my high school for instance, Ash. So for us, we're in 5A, but we're not a 5A school as far as whenever it comes to how many students we have. I think literally
based off
what makes us based off of how many students you have that go to your school. That's what makes you a 5A.
Yeah, but why are you not? Why you not?
Hold on.
Why do you don't think you're 5A?
Okay, but hold on. Let me finish. So we literally, I think we are 5A by 10 students. It's either 10 to 25 students. Whenever you have schools like West Monroe that have literally, I think they out have us by students by 1,000.
Daniel, you're what you call a small 5A. You still a 5A though. You over the
okay.
The line.
So here's the thing. In Alabama, we don't have select versus non-select, but we do have the whole private school thing. So this is one thing they started doing, because another thing that started happening was schools were shutting, certain cities like schools were shutting down high schools and combining and becoming larger schools. So they ended up getting a 7A. But what they started doing, here's the thing. You would be classified by your school size, but if you start dominating, like for instance, I think it was UMS Wright. It's a private school in Mobile. They were dominating like 3A, so they moved them up to 4A to level out competition, and that's kind of what they do. That's the rule. If you're dominating a classification, they move you up.
See,
and
that's
then,
what
you know what I'm saying, for a few years.
That was my suggestion on Twitter Space, right? So just put all them teams in the 6A, the West Monroes, Nevilles, Catholics, all them.
Way too many schools.
Okay, so after that, then like the Cavalries and people like that, just bump them up a class. Make Cavalry, instead of being 1A, Cavalry OCS, y'all 2A now. You know what I mean? Like St. James and all them, okay, y'all 4A now. You get what I'm saying? So you can keep them together, but just since you say private schools have an unfair advantage, just bump them up a class.
In the 4A. They ain't gonna never win state championship.
Look, what Danny Girl said, as far as, can you put Danny's deal on there? So yes, if you're at that threshold, I do think you should decide. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an unfair advantage. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we know West Monroe, aka West Monroe University. You know what I'm saying? Which we ain't backing down. 2 years ago, we went to the state championship. We beat West Monroe. We beat Acadiana. No, we lost to Acadiana in the state championship. But we beat a lot of teams. We beat Zachary. But at the same time, kind of like what Danny's saying, Central Louisiana, we do have too many schools. You know what I'm saying? I honestly believe that Peabody, if they let their basketball players play football, Peabody could possibly do a lot of good things in football. But this goes to the fact that I feel like Central Louisiana football is disrespected. Guys, we put out a lot of players. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing about y'all, bro. And we just talked about this, dog. Y'all got one team, pretty much, maybe two if you include Peabody, that can consistently, that like, all right, any given year, if Peabody or if Ash,
well, they got Welsh up there, so
yeah, that's a little smaller school. You know what I mean? But if you look at North Louisiana, you got West Monroe, Neville, Ruston, you got all the Shreveport schools. You know what I mean? If you look at South Louisiana, of course we know what they got. Y'all ain't really got but a handful of schools in the area, you know what I mean, who can really compete year in and year out.
Pooh Bear, but this is the problem. I mean, not Pooh Bear, this is the problem. We have, I think, Alexandria, Rapids, I think it's probably like 70,000 people. Bro, we have 6 or 7 different high schools. We have 2 5A high schools. We have
Monroe ain't no different. Monroe ain't no different.
New Orleans got more than 7. They got
Monroe ain't no different.
But look how many people you have.
We got a 5A in Washita. And I'm not even including West Monroe. That's a whole other city. And just in Monroe, you got Washita and Neville, 4A, 5A. You got Carroll, Wiseman, Richwood, all 3A. If you want to include St. Fred OCS, that's 2 more 1A schools, and Sterlington, which is pretty much Monroe, another 3A school. So we got the same problem, bro.
I say this: you close down 2-3 of them high schools.
I've been saying it for the longest. If you combine Carroll, Neville, and like just Carroll and Neville, or just Wiseman and Neville, or just Carroll and Wiseman, man, bro, it would be totally different. But that's the thing.
Y'all just don't have the. Y'all just not pushing teams out, man. Y'all only got 1 or 2 teams that can compete with everybody.
That's my
because
point.
Because the talent is so spread out. You got teams like
I don't think that's the reason. It's just like
I think so. I think so.
The schools.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's not a disrespect thing. It's just y'all aren't in the conversation year in and year out, except for a couple schools.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and honestly, Ash been hit and miss. Well, Ash been hit and miss. Y'all either be real good, have a few down years, then be real good again.
It's Kinder.
We always have players though.
Yeah,
since Louisiana always have players.
Look at my daughter on here commenting.
Hey, father. She sounds
that's sweet. That's sweet.
Hey, Booback, can we do the commercial right quick, man?
Yeah, go ahead. We
gotta get this money, dog. We gotta get this money. All right, go ahead, man. Can I get my spotlight? Take all these other people off the screen. All right, so y'all know what we're trying to do here at Golden Boot, right? Guys, we have big things working right now. We actually got some NIL deals that's on the cuff, and we have more NIL deals that we actually want to do. So we need your support. Not only that, guys, if you know anyone that's looking to promote their business, we're looking for sponsors. If you have, family members, relatives, kids that are pretty good with social media, and we're looking for interns, right? There's a lot of things that we're looking to do to help us grow. But not only that, what you can do, guys, if you do want to support us, please like and share, comment. Also, Pooh Bear's about to put up, you can donate to us. You can donate to the Golden Boot, donate via PayPal. Go ahead and take a screenshot, snap. You know what we do. Go and take a picture of that, guys, and donate to us.
Daniel get some new blinds.
This is definitely going to help, and we do appreciate the support that we have. Rich, thank you for supporting us, man. We appreciate that. Danny Girl, we appreciate the support, and the many others who have donated. But not only that, guys, we got merch for sale, right? I know a lot of y'all need help with our wardrobe, so we have provided a template of what you can wear. We got hats, we got baseball jerseys, we got flippy floppies, we got it all. So, guys, once again, we thank you for tuning in. But not only that, guys, like, share, subscribe, tell your cousins, tell your grandma about us, and just keep supporting him. We appreciate it.
We need to get Daniel some new headphones too, because he out here still in the churns. And, hey, this probably by far my favorite comment of the night. Where did my father go? Hey,
she about to check. She ready to check some, bro. She's like, hold up, where my dad go?
shout out to Lil Petty Murphy, man.
So proper, my father.
Hey, I do have Sin-Law Pride, baby, all day long, Chance.
Yeah, you say with that Sin-Law Pride. All right, so let's talk about the NFL real quick. We can make this kind of short. Deshaun Watson is that trouble is not behind him.
That boy nasty.
Documents and stuff were revealed this week. It's a lot. It's a lot. 66 different masseuses, I guess you can
over
say.
17-month span. Yeah.
Over 17-month span.
It's about 4 per month if you do the math.
One every week.
One every week, yeah.
Okay, so
different ones. Let's not talk about the case. Let's not do that. Let me ask this, because we'll spend all day on that, because we all have children. Some of us have daughters. We know how we feel about that. Do y'all think Deshaun Watson plays this year?
No.
Nope.
I think he gets 6 games, 8 games.
I think he goes on. I think he goes on the commissioner's exempt list and don't play for the entire season.
Oh man,
because Because if you look at it, because I know you brought it up before, Ben Roethlisberger got what 4 games for 6.
He got 6, and it got dropped down to 4.
Okay, and that was for one accusation.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: was Deshaun Watson suspended last year, or this was by choice that he actually set out? So he set out on his own last year.
The Texans chose not to play him last year.
No, it was an agreement. They made an agreement not to. Him and the Texans agreed to both not play.
And will he still get a $200 million?
My father's yeah. Aaliyah, dang.
Hey, chill out, man. Chill out,
funny,
baby.
Bro.
I'm just glad you're watching, baby. I'm just glad you're watching.
Right.
But my thing about this is the reason why I don't think he plays is because the NFL can't ignore this. And they got to come out and extra hard in front of this because of the Texans' involvement in this situation. The Texans providing him with hotel rooms and NDAs and stuff like that, and now they're being added as a part of the suit, the silver suit. So I think anytime you bring the shield, the NFL shield in it, you know what I mean, and start attacking them as a whole. I mean, with one of their franchises in it, then it's a bad look on the shield. It's bad enough that a player's involved, but whenever you have one of your 32 involved in this too, something's got to change. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the owner of the Texans sell the team, and if he don't play again this year.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys say you don't want to talk about the case, but I got a question. Can I? Don't ask it.
All right.
All right,
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So if these women signed NDAs and they knew what they were getting into,
don't ask the Dolphins. Go ahead. Okay.
Hold on. I get where you're going, but let me just say this: the first time he got an NDA is from the Houston Texans was because one of the masseuses was about to out him. So it seems to me like there was already stuff. There was already accusations that could have been done before the NDAs even entered the picture. Secondly, just because you sign the NDA don't mean you know what's about to happen. He can make you sign this NDA saying, I don't want nobody to know that I'm getting a massage right now. You know what I mean? You don't know what's about to happen after you sign that. So I don't agree that just because they signed the NDA, they knew what was about to happen.
Aunt daughter on here, but NDAs might be just so people don't, he don't, what I'm saying, they don't go.
Yeah, all kind of different reasons. You know what I mean?
Stuff. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. All right, Chris, you was gonna say something before we move on?
I was just wondering.
It's the truth. It's the truth. People say. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Is this $230 million still guaranteed, or if you don't play?
I bet they got something in there. In that contract.
Nah, they got out. They got it out if he gets suspended this year.
I was gonna say a morality clause. I'm guaranteed it's got to be.
But it ain't just that. It ain't just that. They got it out if he gets suspended this year. They can get some of their money back.
Okay. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's move on. This week or last week, I'm not sure when, but Jack Del Rio got in trouble for some comments he made on Twitter. He said people's livelihoods are being destroyed, businesses are burned down, no problem. And then we have a dust up at the Capitol, nothing burned down, and we're going to just make that a major deal. If you don't know, he was basically comparing the protests during the summer of George Floyd, I guess if you want to call it, to the January 6th insurrection. And the let me see, Washington actually the commanders. Go ahead, Ant.
The coach fined him. Ron Rivera fined him.
Okay,
$100,000.
Wasn't even the owner. Wow.
And then the owner ain't. Let me be quiet. But then they donated the $100,000 to the Capitol Police fund or something.
Okay.
On them kind of
so here's the comments from Ron Rivera. His comments do not reflect the organization's views and are extremely hurtful to our great community here in the DMV. I'm not going to get into the what he said was wrong, but I do want to say this. I don't think they should have fined him because there is because the first thing that was going to happen was the freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. And people are going to say, oh, they're going to make it a political issue. Oh, they're holding him, stopping him from making his statements and stuff. Yeah. But the difference is there's a difference in freedom of speech and consequences from words said. From you
can say whatever you want to say.
You can say what you want, but then there's consequences behind it.
That's right.
The freedom of speech only protects you from the government doing something to you because of what you say. That doesn't stop your employer or anybody else from giving you consequences for what you say.
Right.
Danny, to answer your question, that was Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator. Is he defensive coordinator? Yeah, defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. And then Rich, this comment, you said, I think we need to take politics out of sports completely. The problem with that there's no way you can, because when people stop being athletes or coaches or referees or even spectators, you're still a human living in this country under things that are going on. So,
but it ain't not even just all that. You can't take politics out of sports when you have the NFL paying the Army so they could do pregame salutes and stuff like that. The NFL brought politics to the NFL. You can't ask the NFL. You can't ask the players not to talk about it whenever the league literally made a deal with politicians. I mean, there's no way you can separate the two now. My whole thing about this, I'm not even going to talk about what he said or whether it was right, whether it was wrong, or anything like that. My thing is, as a coach in DC, how do you make those insensitive comments?
Wow. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There was people who lost their lives in DC because of that incident. And you're gonna call it a dust up? I'm not. Politics aside, you called it a dust up, and people lost their lives in that city that you're in. How, as a fan, can you go support a franchise that feels that way about? You know what I'm saying? And even if the organization don't feel that way, I haven't heard the owner come out and say a thing yet.
Right.
Hey, that's just like calling the attacks on the World Trade Center accident. A plane accident.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's like there's a certain level of sensitivity you have to have, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, all right. I 100% agree with that. And I would say too, boring. I ain't even going to it. You just don't say it. You just don't say it, because I don't want to get too political, man. But yeah, let's go. Yeah.
All right. So this week we also saw the Los Angeles Rams. I guess they got a stimulus check or something because they paying people left and right. Aaron Donald was scheduled to make 55 mil over the next 3 years with 14 mil in compensation in 2022. He will now salary make cap. Bro, like he will now make
212.
I don't know, but he will now make 95 mil over the next 3 years with 31.5 mil this year in 2022. How much of that
is a signing bonus is what I want to know.
Hey, it don't stop there though.
He needs more.
Cooper Kupp will now make he signed a 3-year 80.1 mil contract extension with the Rams.
I'm gonna say this: all that money don't really impress me, because I saw my team create over 90 million in cap space without cutting a single player. So the Rams aren't the only people that know how to manipulate the salary cap, and the Saints been doing this since 2006 when Mickey Loomis came here. The difference is we aren't in LA, so the media don't hype it up like that.
What's the point? I don't understand why the NFL still chooses to have a salary cap. They don't have a salary cap.
They do have a salary cap.
They have a salary cap, but they don't have a salary cap.
They gotta have a salary cap for teams like Los Angeles.
So check this out.
Baseball, Major League Baseball, they don't have a salary cap.
They don't have a salary cap, but they have a luxury tax. This is the difference. They have a salary cap. The salary cap is just for the salary, your base salary during the season.
Yeah.
The salary cap does not include any signing bonuses. So what a team like the Saints does is, okay, you're owed $15 million, Daniel. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you 12 mil up front, and we're gonna pay you 3 mil in base salary. Yeah. So only 3 mil goes toward the salary cap, but you still getting all 15 of your $1 million.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So they have a salary cap. Teams are just smart and know how to manipulate it.
Hey, when Aaliyah's birthday, we got to get her some. She
next month, July 10th.
Hey, don't be trying to backtrack now, Leah.
Hey, you stay off my niece, baby. What you want for your birthday? What you want for your birthday? Tell all your friends to come to the Golden Boot. Check out your dad and his uncles.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to next episode. You know, I'm gonna have to show y'all them and they rocking their Golden Boot shirts and everything.
Yeah,
we do have kids sizes, by the way.
We do. Yeah. We have toddler sizes as well. So
and bikinis.
That out there. Yeah. Daniel wears his faithfully. All right. Let's move on to we talk about NFL getting paid. Let's talk about college football. CJ Stroud and Quentin Ewers both signed deals, NIL deals. It was first reported that CJ Stroud was getting $150,000 Bentley. That was retracted. He's getting a G-Wagon, which I mean, still no slight.
$200,000.
Yeah. For this one. Quinn Ewers is getting an Aston Martin.
After his teammate, after the running back, Bijan Robinson, he got a Lambo.
A Lambo truck or a Lambo car?
So this is my question to those guys. You have those vehicles. You can't drive them yourself. You're going to have to pay for a driver.
Why they can't drive them themselves?
You can't drive an Aston Martin and you ride shotgun.
If he now when he first got a Bentley, I was like, yeah, that's you gonna need a driver for that at first. Yeah. But a G-Wagon, nah, you can get a G-Wagon drive by yourself. Aston Martin, you can drive.
Why they need a driver to drive a Bentley?
Aston Martin, yeah.
Oh no,
that's Bentley customary. Yeah, that's customary. But Aston Martin, Rick Ross was talking. He had a whole song about Aston Martin music.
But he was sitting.
Chris, no.
We good, honey boy.
Hey, I love that song. Drake
I'm just in time. Anyway,
okay.
All right.
Ain't nobody worried about their NIL deals though.
Let's talk about speaking of NIL. I was just going to say, let's speak of Louisiana's NIL deal.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's got a good comment.
I wonder why they are paying for cars instead of getting the player money.
I know why.
Why?
Because if I give you cash, I just gave you $150,000 or $200,000, right? If I lease you this car, it's worth $200,000.
And then you're going to give it right back to me.
But you're going to give it back to me. And then I'm going to go say, hey, does anybody want to buy the G-Wagon that, what's his name?
CJ
Stroud. Anybody want to buy the G-Wagon that Stroud had? And I still get money, but you still got your $200,000.
Sounds like a good business deal.
All right. So Louisiana NIL bill. All right. So I know a couple people waiting on this one.
Birdman.
the Louisiana NIL bill, if I'm not mistaken, is passed through state Congress. It is now sitting on the desk of Governor Bill Edwards.
As of June 3rd, it was on his desk.
Right, just waiting to be.
What are you waiting for?
All right, and tell me about the Louisiana NIL bill, because everybody was in space has been talking. You've been telling everybody we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, let's get some things understood here. NCAA does have regulations on NIL. The problem is state law supersedes the NCAA rulings and regulations. So the bill that was passed has some interesting language in it. One of them is that no NIL deal is privy to a public records request. That means all these NIL deals will be completely confidential. There's a few things that was originally in the bill, but before it was passed, they made sure to be taken out of. The one thing that was very interesting to me that they took out was it said a post-secondary education institution shall not use an athletic booster to directly or indirectly facilitate compensation opportunities. So basically, you can use a booster to facilitate an NIL deal now. I mean, it's in the law. The NCAA says you can't, but Louisiana law says you can. That's not the one that got me though. Let me read you the one that got me. A post-secondary education institution or an officer of an employee of a post-secondary education shall not compensate or cause compensation to be directed to a player or prospective intercollegiate athlete. So now, if I want an NIL deal with X player, I can call up his coach and say, "Hey, I want an NIL deal with X. Tell him to call me and let's facilitate this NIL deal." It's nothing. There's nothing illegal about that now. Or if I want an NIL deal with, a member of the women's basketball team, I can call up Kim Moke and say, "Hey, I want to do an NIL deal with XYZ." Or if I want to help get a recruit to campus, I can say, "Hey, who's the recruits we need to pay? Here's the money. Y'all go spend it on the recruits y'all think y'all need to spend it on." And there's nothing the NCAA can do about it now. So for the longest, you've been hearing me say once something gets passed, LSU ain't gonna be, they ain't got nothing to worry about no more. And that is the reason why. Because LSU can now do things that no other school can do, which is boosters and members of the institution can help facilitate NIL deals, and there's nothing NCAA can do about it.
Mm. So in that case, it sounds like we won't be behind. We'll actually be ahead.
Okay, yeah. So let me just throw this out there. So if I know what's in the law, right? All I did was Google something. Mm-hmm. You don't think that 2 months ago, whenever we had a spring game, that Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward didn't know what was finna be in that law?
Right.
So you don't think whenever they had a Dante Moore on campus that they didn't sit down to him and be like, "Hey, look, bro, we about to get some things done, where we're gonna be able to do things nobody else can do." So
that's segue, boy. That's segue.
Hold on. Before we segue, I just want to say this. The information is out there for everybody. You don't have to believe everything you hear, everything you read. Do some research for yourself. Look some stuff up. Whenever they say, "Oh, there's a bill about to be passed," you can look the bills and stuff up, bro. You can go just like I did and find the language and information that's in there, so you can know what LSU is and aren't going to be able to do. Stop, relying on everybody to give you your information, because some people are going to mislead you. It just is what it is.
What did Jay-Z say? Jay-Z said Google is your friend.
It is,
bro.
I'm not too ashamed to say that I use Google a hell of a lot every day, because I don't know everything. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to learn more. So why not?
We got a buddy who think he know everything though.
Chill out.
See, Chris, that's why you're gonna be back where you.
Hey, and I'm gonna say this too, Chris. You're using that buddy word a little loosely.
All right. Yeah. So.
What? She using your card too.
Yeah, she already asked me to cash out something over there before the show even started. I tell you, bro.
Listen, Aaliyah, you are my favorite.
How old she is, Aunt?
Huh?
How old is she?
She 8, about to be 9.
Okay. Man.
And she know how to use comments. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, she's advanced, bro.
But hey, speaking of segue. Dante Moore recruitment. Mm-hmm. Our good buddy, the GOAT of recruiting himself, Mike Scarborough. He posted a tweet this week and said the scuttlebutt, which was first of all, when I read
that. He didn't tweet that. Preston tweeted that from his account.
From his account. Scuttlebutt. Yeah. Scuttlebutt, triple word, Scrabble. But the scuttlebutt around town was that Dante Moore's recruitment was heating up, and he was looking real positive to be coming to LSU. So, first things first. Daniel, does this help settle that those feelings that we're losing out on all these Louisiana recruits? And then second, I'm trying to think how to put this. Does this feed into what Ant said about already having this knowledge and having a deal kind of in place.
Look, I'll say it like this: BK, they get this done. Hey, y'all have literally done something that Les Miles and Coach O has not been able to do, and that's deliver. Because
did Nick Saban deliver a quarterback like that to LSU?
He did. And that's going to be the next topic too. Boy, stop.
Oh, okay.
What you mean?
Boy,
no, Nick Saban. Go ahead.
Parallel went under Saban, but go ahead. Keep going.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
Go ahead. Parallel wasn't even out of high school when Saban was there.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. But
no, he did not recruit him.
Go ahead. He delivered, and he delivered on the quarterback.
Okay, he delivered on the quarterback. Okay. But I would say this: if they can literally seal the deal with Dante Moore, I'm 100% happy. 100%
I got something to say
because I do think that he's a better quarterback than Eli Hostins, and I also do think he's a better quarterback than Arch Manning. 100%.
No.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, Chris.
If he ain't better than Arch, which I don't think he's better than Arch, I don't think he's better than Eli. And we don't get Eli or Arch, it's still a loss.
So you don't think that Dante Moore better than Eli Hosting?
No, I don't.
You don't think he's better than Arch Manning?
No. Arch is what he is. Arch is a 5-star. The best quarterback, the best player in the country.
Time out. The Dante Moore is a 5-star. Also, he's the number 3 quarterback in the country.
Eli Hosting is a 4-star.
Higher than Eli Hosting, first of all. Second of all, we done sat on here this show and talked about this before, bro. If his name was Arch Smith, he would not be the number 1 player in the country. We're not doing this today, Chris.
Do you think 24/7 is going off right now, or they going off what you project?
I'm saying 24/7 is going off his last name, is what they going off of.
Let me be honest. I do think Eli gets his 5th star though, and I don't think it's just because it's the Bama bump.
I'll give you that, and it might be at the end of the season. But if we being real, Chris, if I told you that there was a 2-star quarterback in Louisiana, I mean a 2A quarterback. Hold on, a 2A quarterback in Louisiana who was the number 1 player in the country, but wasn't even a 2A All-State player last year, 2A All-State quarterback last year. What would you tell me?
If I have never seen him?
If you had never seen him play before,
I would say you're lying.
So what's the difference? Because you've seen Arch Manning?
Yes.
So that's
seen what? His last name? Or no, what, Chris? Have you seen what, or did you see his highlights? Because highlights are going to show you just the best.
I've seen Arch in person. Arch got everything you want in a quarterback. I'm telling you.
Okay, so what does he have?
He got a strong arm. He accurate, intermediate. He can run.
Chris, you weren't paying attention.
Did you see the clip? Did you see the clip we sent you?
Bro, y'all showed me the clip. He threw the what's the Will Randall?
Yeah, that you said was trash.
Look, no.
You said
you know what?
Anyway.
This is 7-on-7. This is 7-on-7, bro. You're not supposed to hold the ball.
Like he wasn't even trying, bro. He looked like he was just out.
And that's not a problem to you?
It could be a problem, but he don't have to be.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, he don't have to what? He competing. When you competing, you try. Like the fact that he out there playing and he ain't trying, that should be a red flag.
Yeah, that is.
But y'all looking at the number 1 overall pick in 2027.
Hey, I like it. I like the fact that Chris is sticking to his guns. I like it, but you're wrong.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing with Steph Curry, Daniel, when he come out.
And you said Amari Cooper was a top 5 receiver too. So let's bring.
That's my opinion. I think he is. When
you think Christian McCaffrey was better
and you think Arch is going to be the number 1 quarterback. So that's your opinion too. That's your opinion too.
Now let's move on. We was talking about quarterbacks and we're talking about JaMarcus Russell.
That's the one Nick Saban got.
Ryan Perrilloux was recruited by Les Miles.
Okay, my bad. I was wrong. I admit it.
Anyway,
but he did get JaMarcus Russell.
He got JaMarcus Russell. JaMarcus Russell was recruited by Saban and stuff, but that's not where I was going. Earlier this week, he actually released a letter. I'm trying to see the name of it because it was actually really good. It's a good read.
That's funny, bro. That's
which one? His daughter.
yeah, bro. That's hilarious.
I'm gonna come back next time. This child crazy, man. That child crazy.
Okay.
Bro.
All right. So JaMarcus had a pretty much an open letter to the Players Tribune titled "Y'all don't know a damn thing about JaMarcus Russell." In the letter, he talks about his time at LSU, his first time using lean, his time going into the draft, the losses of several key people in his life, his time at Oakland, the backlash he's faced from sports anchors like Stephen A. Smith. It just talks about all this, and it was kind of eye opening. I mean. Being from Mobile, some of the stuff I kind of knew, but then being a fan, it was still some stuff in there that I learned. First, y'all, I know you had a chance to read it. Daniel, I think you did too. I'm not sure. Chris, I don't know if you did, because I know you heard us talking about it or whatever. I don't know if you had a chance to read or even saying peep parts of it out. But what are y'all thoughts? What are some things that you kind of took away from it?
Some things bigger than football, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I know we look at these people, through the lens of what they do for a living, you know what I mean, as professional athletes or whatever the case may be. But sometimes we forget to take the human aspect into account and what they go through off the field. And man, anytime you lose anybody in your life that's close to you, it's hard to deal with. But somebody that practically raised you, you know what I mean, that's a little more difficult to, you know what I mean, to cope with. And on top of having to go out there and being a public guy every day and still, expected to play at a certain level. I mean, like, whenever I go through something, my performance slack in my job, you know what I mean? But these people are in positions to where they're not giving that same, but they're not giving that same leniency of, oh, I know you're going through something, so you had a bad day, oh well, you know what I mean? It ain't that. It's, I don't care what you're going through, you're expected to play here. And so I think it's man, it was real kind of comforting in a sense for him to kind of put his side of the story out, and I was glad to hear him and kind of explain what he went through and why his career went the way it did. Not that he owed it to us by any means, but just so people on the outside looking in would not just hear the Stephen A. Smiths of the word labeling him a bust and all these types of things. I was glad to hear the other side.
I think I would probably, the whole article, I would say one word: empathy. You know what I'm saying? That's what the word lacks right now, is empathy. Man, we all have tough days, kind of like what you said. And it's tough whenever you lose somebody, and especially tough whenever you lose a mentor. You know what I'm saying? And how to cope.
Imagine losing 3.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's difficult. He's always been a punchline to, NFL bust. And now you guys kind of get the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Why it happened this way. And
I say this though,
for being honest, man.
Real salute to him for being. I say this though, he's the one everybody brings up when they want to talk about bust, right?
Yep.
Ryan Leaf used to kind of get mentioned, right? Until he had the substance abuse problem that he had, and then everybody kind of felt sorry for him, and it was a redemption story in a sense.
Yeah. Well,
how come JaMarcus Russell don't get that same type of empathy, Daniel, like you were saying, when you look at his story and you see the substance abuse problems that he had in his playing career? You see what I'm saying? It goes back to that same double standard, bro.
It is, but I do have an answer for you. Two things I saw in the article, and then I talked to a friend from back home, and they mentioned, so 2 things. The first one, mental health was never addressed. He didn't mention it, but if you read the article and read between the lines, he definitely had some
it's a stigma. The stigma is why he didn't mention it, bro.
Yeah, he didn't mention it, but he definitely could benefit. We've talked about it before. Athletes going through these things, and they don't necessarily know, or they're not just seeking that help, but it's something I feel like he, saying could have benefited from. The other thing is accountability. Although he did talk about, the things that happened to him and how he was treated, I don't think he fully took accountability for himself for the things he contributed. I know he mentioned he mentioned some of the things, but he didn't, fully say I was wrong for blank, 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 blank. Not saying he necessarily owed it to us to do that, but a lot of people didn't.
That's real. I respect that answer because honestly, until you to own up to it, you know what I mean. Ain't nobody gonna really care. You know what I mean. But that's a good point.
And you mentioned earlier, nobody is really showing JaMarcus. I think they will show him empathy now. That he has came out with this story, I think they will. I think you have some people that will. You're gonna have
be as much. It's still gonna be a punchline.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people I seen a lot of people sharing that article or quote tweeting that article or whatever, saying like, man, I don't care about this. You still can throw a football. You know what I mean?
But what's funny?
That's true, Pooh. That's true.
But But what's so funny about this is America right now. Everybody wants, and I've said this before. Everybody wants to talk about mental health and how it's a thing to talk about right now. But the thing is, what's the actions? That's
the thing. It's easy to talk about, but when you're presented with an opportunity to,
people don't show grace. You don't show grace because look, and I made a post today. One of my friends, Sam, he made a good point. Like this is, I think this month is men's mental health month, right? And
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Nobody talks about it, right?
Exactly.
But I don't know how many people actually know that men commit suicide 4 times more than women do. You know what I'm saying? And the reason behind that is because we've, as a society, has made it so taboo for men to actually come out and to express themselves and how they truly feel.
Especially in our community, bro. Yeah. You're taught as a little boy, man, don't cry, hold that in. You know what I mean? Boys, all that kind of, and it just sticks with you your whole life to where, whenever you're going through something,
you don't know how to process it.
It's bottle it in. That's all you know how to do.
I got a smart poo moment. Imagine I put on my professor glasses. So, did y'all know that when you cry, you release like emotions and stuff through your tears? So a lot of times, like you just said, we're told to tell boys don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Toughen up and stuff. Doing that to your child, you teach them to suppress and withhold those emotions, and not only just from a mental standpoint, but from a physical standpoint. Those hormones aren't getting out. So that's just something, you take with that as you will. Okay, they back off, back to the foolishness. Let's go.
Nah, but I mean that's
real. That's real though, bro. That's real life, and we wonder why. I ain't trying to pick on us, but I'm just being honest. Black men have the worst problem when it comes to opening up, venting, you know what I mean, communicating in general, you know what I mean, because we never do any of that. We just bottle everything in and we deal with it on our own. The most unhealthy thing we could do.
And the thing is, like, let's say you have kids, they have an issue. There's not enough people that want to listen. You know what I'm saying? Whenever that kid is crying out for help, and it's not just a black-white thing. It's a male thing in general. I mean, it's a male, female. It's not enough people that actually want to sit down and listen, and then like talk them through it. You know what I'm saying? It's too many right now. Too many people are wrapped up in social media, wrapped up in their own thing, and until they hit your front door, you don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything else.
A lot of people talk about mental health, but they ain't actually went through it. I deal with mental health. I hate to say it publicly, but
ain't nothing wrong with it, bro. I go see a counselor faithfully.
I take medicine for my mental health, man. I got antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicine. I take everything. Ain't nothing
wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that, dog.
Yeah,
every day.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
and it's hard to do, bro. It's hard to deal with it. Stay strong and having a family, going to work, man. It affects all that, man. Everything, relationships, man. It affects everything. I'm telling you.
And you know what, Chris, man, was I don't want to say crazy, but a lot of people have that. A lot of people go through it. I have anxiety myself, bro. I didn't even know I had it. I just thought I just worried about stuff all the time. Oh, that's anxiety. You're not supposed to live your life worried about everything all the time, overthinking situations. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot, and the thing is, a lot of people don't even understand because they don't want to take the time out. Just like you go to the gym and work out to get healthy, just like you
go see a doctor.
Healthy. Yeah,
you go see a doctor if you don't feel well.
Exactly.
Why not go see a doctor for your mental
health? I mean, it's just
and that's a sign of sickness too, and people don't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, but
All right,
before you get off, I know you were about ready, but
no. We got a couple, like 1 or 2 more things we need to jump on before we close it out. Well, go ahead.
But you know how you go to the mental health doctor, the doctor period, and he be like, what can help with anxiety and depression is exercise. I have yet to try that, but they said it works pretty good.
It does,
Daniel, I know you probably because you told me you be exercising. They said exercise works.
It really does.
Oh my god! Hey, dog, that was the line of the night, dog. That was
snip that.
All righty.
But definitely, if you it helps.
No, that's real though, Chris. That's real.
That was a good one, bro. That was a good one.
Hey, but hold on. Put Dandy's comment up there real quick, and then we can move on. I'm sorry, but he said
Danny or Dandy?
Dandy Thompson said, "I know I had for the people that listen to the podcast. I know I had to let all that stuff go and give it to God.
That's facts, but ain't nothing wrong with having God and a counselor.
Exactly. They work both ways, guys. It worked both ways. You can't just always pray about it. You gotta faith without works is dead. You gotta actually go and put the work in to work on yourself.
Yo, ain't nothing wrong with having Jesus and a counselor, baby.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it.
All right. 100%. So, all right, let's we got a couple quick hitters before we get to our altar calls. All right. First off, the U.S. gymnastics team sues the FBI for $1 billion.
Ooh,
with a B.
They deserve that lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
This for the
Larry Nassar. This for the FBI dropping the ball in the Larry Nassar investigation and allowing it to keep happening. But anyway,
All right. So listen. First of all, if y'all don't watch the Golden Boot or haven't been, y'all need to tell your friends. Listen, because altar call last week was about the PGA getting upset about the LIV tournament. Now the PGA has come out and suspended 17 golfers from their tour because they went to the LIV tournament. So why are people going to the LIV tour? Oh, let me guess. Because they're paying money. They offer money. They offered Tiger Woods $1 billion with a B.
Dang.
To go to their tour.
Turned it down. And he turned it down. How well do you got to be living with your life to turn down $1 billion? Like for real.
Oh my gosh.
Phil Mickelson is getting 200
to go play a round of golf.
No, it's not one round. No. It's to come be a part of their little tour.
Their tour.
So
yeah.
How long is the tour?
Yeah. It's eight meets, I think, or 8 matches or whatever the case may be.
Dog.
Sign
me up. Sign me up right now.
Do you hear me?
Do you hear me?
All right. Phil Mickelson gets 200 mil. Dustin Johnson, they offer him 125.
They both went. They both went though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's guaranteed, not including your purse if you win. And so on and so on and so on. There have been 300, 200 here and there. But the PGA again is suspending those players.
Put Dan the comment up real quick before you move on. That's not entirely true. The PGA is a nonprofit organization that requires donations and stuff like that to pay their players. There's no way that they'll be able to match $300 million or $200 million just to get somebody to come on a tour. There's no way that can happen. They can increase their purse sizes for the matches and for where you're placing and stuff like that. But they're not going to be able to pay players to come be a part of the tour. Not happening. Not that kind of money, at least. Oh, and with the LIV tour. That is in Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken. That's who's backing it. The Saudi Arabians are funding it. They had their first little competition this past weekend, I think, in England, and dude who won like 4.5 mil.
Yeah.
The last place dude got 125,000. Last place. I'll go be last every match.
What? Somebody want to mention briefly Lynn Grant. I know y'all like who. It is a Swedish golfer, a woman. She was just in a mixed event. Yeah, she was in a mixed event and a tournament, golf tournament, and she won by 9 strokes.
Wow.
I know y'all, and if y'all don't keep up with golf, that's
winning by like 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, against men too, men and women. Yeah. So the second place was she won. She a total for all 4 rounds was under 20 or minus 24. Second place was minus 15. It was 2 people tied at that, and then 4th place was minus 14. So it wasn't even close. But shout out to her. You know what? We're gonna save some of the rest of these for next week, and let's go ahead and get into yeah, I know, right? Let's go ahead and get into our altar calls. Yeah. All right, Sir Ant, you've had the most of the crowd chanting your name. They your daughters, but I'll let you go ahead and go first, though.
All right, that's real. You got the graphic for me, or did you get the graphic?
I apologize. I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. All right, we all remember the old boy from Tennessee who gave the bird while rounding first base. Wonder how they feeling right about now. There's a picture of him crying in the dugout after they lost today. When you're that cocky and you're that arrogant and you flip the opposing players off and you drop F-bombs to the umpires because you strike out and your coach tries to fight different players on other teams and numerous times during the season, you better win. And when you don't win and you're one of the best teams to ever play and you haven't even lost 10 games on the season, but you come to the Super Regional and lose at home, that's a problem to me. Yeah, that's one picture. Slide to the other picture. Yeah, poor fella. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, is it? Now, Notre Dame is going to be in Omaha when y'all going to be at home watching them. Maybe you'll think about that next year whenever y'all try to be I ain't even going to say it, but when y'all try to be arrogant, I'll just leave it at that.
All right. All right, yeah. I'll go ahead and take it, and I'll let you finish this thing up, Daniel. All right, so I want to talk about Mikael Hilliard. For those of you who know, Mikael Hilliard has been with us with LSU's baseball team for a while, and we actually got an extra year out of Mikael due to the COVID. But recently, he did an interview with the great Jacques Doucette, and Mikael basically spoke on his vision for what's next for him. Mikael spoke about how he would see young black kids around and they would walk up to him and tell him he was their hero. Although his career at LSU is over, his impact on those kids continues. Mikael has been an amazing ambassador both on and off the field for LSU. When kids see him or see someone like him playing baseball, it inspires them. It gives them something to look forward to, and it gives them some, hey, another sport that I can succeed in. It gives them something else. It gives them hope. At one point in time, you had black kids everywhere in every neighborhood playing baseball. That's not the scene we see today. The demographic of what the baseball field looks like has changed drastically in this nation. It's been various reasons. But you know, I have hope, and obviously Mikael has hope that those kids and bringing black kids and other ethnicities to the diamond again is a possibility. Mikael spoke to Jock and basically mentioned that his 5-year vision was to inspire kids to through different camps, different events, everything like that to come back to baseball. I personally look forward to seeing the next generation play. Kudos to Mikael for using his platform for a greater good and putting out a clarion call to, you know, bring minorities back to baseball, or shall I say, you know, black kids back to baseball.
I say this too before you go, Daniel. I say this. I think Mikael was a great example, but I think LSU has 2 great examples. because I think Trey Morgan is doing just as much as Mikel to try to bring, the excitement and popularity of baseball back to black kids, especially in the New Orleans community where he's from. I ain't want to steal shining nothing, but yeah, just want to throw that out there too.
In fact, appreciate you. All right, Daniel.
Yeah. So a lot of times, guys, who I'm calling to the altar, Adam Pac-Man Jones. A lot of times, whenever we hear this name, the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind, that comes to my mind, is what did he do? You know what I'm saying? And it's not a good thing. Over the years, over his NFL career, Pac-Man Jones has been arrested numerous times. He has, he was arrested for assault. He was arrested for marijuana. Kicked out the league for a little bit to serve suspension. But, I have to commend him on this. Of course, Pac-Man Jones' teammate, his college teammate, Chris Henry, and also one of his NFL teammates, and they were really close. Chris Henry, of course, if you don't know, Chris Henry died a couple of years ago, and he left behind a wife and 2 sons. He died from a head trauma injury. And him and Pac-Man were very close. Some would consider them actually brothers. And although Pac-Man has been in the news for not being probably the best the best person as far as best example, what he's doing right now should be applauded. Pac-Man Jones actually adopted Chris Henry's sons, both of them. He just took them in, I want to say a couple years ago, to help the mother out and just to give them a positive role model. And he told Chris Henry, his friend, that he will always be there to help him with his family, and he's doing that. But the good thing that just happened, Chris Henry's son, Chris Henry Jr., was actually just offered by Ohio State. And that's so awesome because his son is shining. You know what I'm saying? And Pac-Man is there along the way, and he's been an excellent role model. And what he's actually doing what he's doing what he said he was doing. He's delivering, and he's being a man of integrity. So I just want to say, man, kudos to Pac-Man. He's always been looked at in the media as somebody who's been kind of a wild person, and he just flew off the cuff and he just did what he wanted to. He wasn't always the best example, but I want to give him kudos for doing what he said he was going to do. And not only that, man, taking care of those boys. And if you go back and watch that Uncle Sanders Sharp video, you will see how much he loves those boys and how much he's proud of them. So just want to say kudos to Pac-Man, man, and salute to you, man, for doing what you said you was going to do and being genuinely happy for those kids.
That's real. That's real.
And don't make fun of my son's Spider-Man.
All right.
It's all I had, man. It's all I had.
All right. I know we finna get ready to move on and close out the show. Before we do that, I want to thank Nic Harris for coming on.
For sure.
Chris. Oh Lord.
Welcome back.
Chris, shout out to Chris. We told y'all, AD, first of all, you late. We talked about it, you know what I'm saying? When Chris came in. You know what I'm saying? Chris here, you know what I'm saying? Like we said, he ain't going nowhere. He just because you don't see him don't mean, we hear him all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, we ain't kick him out like I thought we did.
Nah, but we want to thank Nic Harris for coming on. Make sure you go to his Twitter, check out his Twitter, donate what you can to his cause. Just help give
look
back
out for his book too.
Yeah, he said in December
around Christmas. Yeah, around Christmas.
Yeah, so before we get ready to go, y'all got anything else?
Nah, I would just say, man, next week is Father's Day. Don't be late, ladies. You know what I'm saying? The same praise that you got on Mother's Day, we expect the same.
Keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy. All right.
Mm-hmm. Not just
Father's Day, fellas too.
Fox and ties. Yes.
Hey, shout out to all the good fathers out there. You know what I'm saying? We got 4 of them on here that's doing it big. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the good fathers out there, and y'all enjoy your week. Enjoy the month.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, and like that, we out. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.